Hello, welcome back to Flight Past. My name's Simon, and you are in the midst of the Waterloo campaign. We're flying over southern Belgium, and we're looking at, particularly today, we're looking at the Battle of Quatre Bras. We got to around about 4 o'clock in the afternoon on the 16th of June 1815. And at this point at Quatre Bras, we've got which, by the way, is just the battlefield is just to our left here. We're just flying over it now. We've got the Anglo Dutch on our left hand side, basically essentially along here, and on the French coming up this road here, and they're attacking across these fields below us as we cross this road, which is the Charleroi-Brussels road. Now, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the French, if you remember from the last part, they had attacked across this field below us here, and they had pushed or forced the Picton's battalions, the 42nd and the 44th, into a square. Some of them are broken. They'd ridden down the Hanoverians, but there was eventually these cavalry were stopped on this road, which we've just flown over now, which is the basically it's the Mons to Namur road, and this is the road that connects the battlefields of Quatre Bras to Ligny. So essentially where my white dot is now, this is where this Pires cavalry was eventually stopped. And it's this point then that Ney realizes that the amount of troops that the Allies are getting here at the moment, we believe it's probably around about 20,000 have got here. He's going to need de Erlon's corps, and de Erlon is essentially following behind Rail's corps, which has got here first, and he needs them to follow up in order to press his advantage on this battlefield. But at this point, and for some reason, because we don't know why, de Erlon's corps is ordered by Napoleon to divert from his orders, which were to follow Rail up this road and to move across this across the countryside here, essentially from this Roman road point, which we'll come up to in a second, across to the battlefield of Ligny. Why he chose to order de Erlon, we don't know, because there was Lebay or Labau, I don't know how to pronounce it. His corps was somewhere in the region of Charleroi, maybe because it was a bit further behind. Anyway, Napoleon wanted him to essentially move across to him, and he sends a messenger across to him to de Erlon. Of course, de Erlon is not going to deny an order from the emperor, so he changes his route and moves across towards Napoleon. That same messenger then would then have to go up to Ney and inform him that he wasn't going to get his reinforcements. Right, so well, by the way, this is the road here coming up, and you can see if I just stop here and jump out, We left the last episode talking about de Erlon, and de Erlon's corps is coming up this road. It's heading towards Brussels, and this here is an old Roman road. You can see it there, look, clear as day. It's not a proper road today, it looks like a farm track. You can see that that just heads straight across, and that's literally heading towards the left hand side of the battlefield of Ligny. You'll find that Napoleon is over here in Fleurus, and Van Damme's corps, the French corps, is essentially in front of this place called Vangnelli. When the order arrives to de Erlon, he's essentially around about here, and he's basically ordered to go up that way, when his earlier orders in the day was to carry on down this road towards Quatre Bras. And this is what I love about this flight simulator. You would never, you can't really see this on a map. If you try to go onto a map, this Roman road doesn't exist on a road map, so you would never see that. That's why we use this flight simulator to help us understand what the decisions were made and the distances involved on the day. Let's go back then to Quatre Bras, 4 p.m. Essentially, it was the end of the third crisis. Picton's battalions have formed square, been driven back. The 42nd and the 44th have broken, and some Brunswickers have managed to stay the Perez's cavalry along this road, and they basically charged through the French cavalry. Essentially rode down Picton's divisions, who are positioned along this ridge here, and they drove back, and they were essentially stopped along this road. And you can see that ditch banks here. This is where they were essentially stopped, and this is where Ney needs those reinforcements. He needs them here now, because essentially it's now or never at Quatre Bras. Wellington orders at this point, because there's a break in the battle, he orders the Brunswickers to move south from here in the direction of Gemiancourt. Now, Gemiancourt is this farmhouse here, and this is held essentially by Foy's troops, French troops. And the 1st Line Battalion advanced to the west of the Charleroi Road, and the Life Battalion to the east. So he's sort of moving his troops essentially down from the crossroads, down the road on either side of the road here. He's essentially, I think, because if you look at the topography, he's trying to get them not essentially on top of this slope here, but just behind it. At this point, the 1st Line Battalion, which is to the east on this side, they say it came up to, it's about 250 meters south of the crossroads at a sheepfold, which I'm not sure what that would be, but we'll say it's probably, well, 250 meters is essentially somewhere around here. They are forced to form square when they are threatened by French cavalry. The Brunswickers on the other side continued to advance. They get somewhere in this area around about 4:30. And they, to their left, it's believed they had some remnants of the 42nd and the 44th, which remember they've been in this area when they were trying to form up square themselves. And on the right-hand side over here, we believe that there might have been some Brunswick cavalry as well in position. And 2 battalions of Brunswickers were kept in reserve around about the crossroads itself. And the 92nd believed to be somewhere in this region here. Now, Ney is waiting for his reinforcements. He, in the meantime, has a battery of 12 pounders. And they, remember the French artillery are kind of on this ridge here. So they're probably lined up somewhere along here, firing up the slope there. And Ney brings up around about 12 pounders here, and he begins to bombard the positions of the Allies. Foy's skirmishers are lining this kind of ditch. This is called the Jiminko brook. And what happens is that the Brunswickers, which we remember are around about here somewhere, they're having to put up with this bombardment and skirmishing going on. And this is where the Duke of Brunswick calmly rides around in their midst, as they say. They're probably lying down. They're probably they're in probably tall crops, so maybe they can't be seen. And the Duke is riding around, basically smoking his pipe, being all cool. Now, Ney is still waiting for D'Ernon's corps. And so he's using his bombardment as a way of sort of keeping pressure up. In the meantime, we get the British division, Alton's division, arrive. And he arrives from Nivelles, which is here. Now, we talked about the dispositions of the cantonments of the Wellington's army. This Nivelles is one of the concentration points. And so Alton's division is marching along this this road here. And he's accompanied as well by 2 batteries of artillery. And as they arrive along this road, Wellington directs a guy called Kielmansegger's Hanoverian brigade towards Peramont, and Hackett's brigade was to draw up on the west of the Charleroi road. And so what we're talking about here, Hackett's brigade would be probably in this area here, and the Hanoverians are moved down to Pyramont, essentially in this area around here. One of the batteries of artillery is sent to support the Brunswickers, which we believe is in this sort of area here. And essentially what happens then with the arrival of Alton is the number game has swung, and this is the first time today, the 16th of June 1815, that Wellington now has more troops than Ney does. It's believed that the Allies now have something in the region of 24,000 infantry and around about 2,000 cavalry and around about 39 guns. So Ney at the moment, and remember he can probably see, I don't know how much he can actually see. Where would you be if you were Ney? Difficult, even if he say he was with his artillery. So he may see. I mean, we're too high here, but essentially what happens is that he has only got in reserve a division of cavalry. He believes that he observes Alton's arrival onto the battlefield, and at the same time as he's observing Alton's arrival on the battlefield, their messenger that was sent to Erlon arrives, and this is the bringing him the news that his expected reserves were not going to arrive. They're moving off towards Ligny. Now, it's 5:30. This is a controversial point again, because if Ney has decides here and now, okay, I'm not getting my reserves, but I am. So I won't win this position, but I won't win this battle. It will almost be a standoff. But what he is doing is he's preventing Wellington from supporting Blucher, because Wellington can't spare any troops at all from this position here. So he essentially would be doing a great service to Napoleon if he just now essentially applied some pressure, but just to make sure to pin Wellington here. And because the order has come to Erlon, and essentially remember it was probably 4 o'clock when de Erlon got that message, and by the time Ney gets his message, it's probably an hour and a half has passed. Orders have been sent out to de Erlon's divisions, and they're moving then essentially in this direction here. What it means basically is that de Erlon's corps now, if you ordered them, countermanded that order, they would probably not arrive at Quatre Bras in time anyway. So it would probably be best just to let them go. But Ney is livid about this. He's a tempestuous kind of guy. He's obviously probably thinks he's expected to have captured this crossroads. He's been a bit lethargic in the morning. He's obviously been a little bit unlucky in some senses because the reinforcements of the Allies have arrived just at the right times. And he thought, okay, if I had de Erlon's corps now, I would win this battle. And it's like a pride thing. And But he basically loses his head, and it's one of the a series of poor judgment decisions that he makes during the course of this campaign. And he then sends a messenger off to basically order de Erlon to retrace his steps and to rejoin him at Quatre Bras. And so what does this mean? Well, it basically means that de Erlon's corps. Now let's just fly de Erlon's route on the day of the 16th. Essentially, remember he's here at Jumet, south of Gazelles. His orders are to move up following rail, so he moves in this direction. He gets delayed slightly here because he hears that there might be some forces on his left. So he investigates that, and he gets to the Roman road here, and receives an order from Napoleon to join him on Ligny. He then essentially comes across here, we believe, essentially gets to around about this place here, and manages to interfere, let's say, with the battlefield of Ligny. He essentially delays Napoleon's decision because he has to be sure whether it is de Erlon on his flank, though he could have easily sent a messenger before. And of course, what happens is that de Erlon then, just as he gets to this place, receives the counter order to come back. So essentially, he then turns around. So even though they realize, okay, it is de Erlon, hooray, we're going to get support at Ligny, de Erlon turns around and comes back this way. And essentially then what you get is that his corps will play no part in either of the battlefields. And where you could argue that he would have played a pivotal role in both battles, but if he had actually just obeyed his emperor first and foremost, then he would probably have a more significant impact than if he had just supported Ney. So why does de Erlon, when he's got an order from Napoleon, then, it's that sort of mindset, isn't it? Who do you follow? Surely you would follow your emperor first, but he seems to be one of these guys who will follow an order blindly. So essentially what we have here then is confusion. We've had a Napoleon writing orders that aren't clear. We've got staff, chief of staffs not sending messengers correctly so that the Ney isn't informed at the same time as de Erlon. If he had sent an order to de Erlon to come to him, and Napoleon had sent an order to Ney saying, I'm taking your reserves, then Ney would have just sat on his hands here at Quatre Bras, and the impact of de Erlon arriving at that time at Ligny would have meant that the rout would have been even stronger, and you could have even probably forced the Prussians away from supporting Wellington during the course of the next few days. So what does that mean in terms of Ney? Well, he now knows that he's got to deal with what's in front of him, with what he's got. And this, we will, I think we'll just do one more break, and when we come back, we will finish off this last part of Quatre Bras for the day. Please like or subscribe. You can follow these videos on YouTube. They're all going to be broken up into little bits for you to see. So if you have missed a bit and want to go back and see the other stuff, you can. If you're watching live, I'll be back in a couple of minutes, and I'll see you soon.